Well, thank you very much for having us. I appreciate it. I only have 5 minutes, so let's get to it. I want to take you back. Think about a time called the 90s, if you can remember it. For those of you that can't, as some of the guys in the back that I've talked with that were born in the 90s, I brought some props. So shout out to Microsoft here. Just some reminders of what was happening in the 90s. This was the upgrade from the original Microsoft Windows to Windows 3.0. Who remembers getting an America Online CD in their mailbox every week? All right. And I thought this might be relevant based on the presidential election coming up now. Can't make this stuff up. It's out there on the internet. This was that new idea of plug-and-play peripherals where all you had to do was plug it into the computer and it would work. So the reason I bring these slides up and I bring this time up is because this was the time when child welfare software in the United States was, when all the laws related to child welfare in the United States were created. So President Clinton and his team put together a laundry list of requirements that every state needed to fulfill if they wanted to have a child welfare system that met the requirements of the federal government and would qualify for federal funding. So I should tell you now that I'm from Case Commons. We're a nonprofit, and we're here to fix this problem. So when we started, we were going out to agencies across the United States, and we were seeing systems that looked a lot like this. And this was one of the more advanced systems. We had systems that were in a terminal screen, green screen. I'm sure some of you have used those, right? Black background, green text. Had to go through about 15 different pages to get where you needed to go. And like I've mentioned to a few of you here in the room, if you needed to put in if you needed to get to page 2, you needed to put in a date of birth. But if you didn't know the date of birth, you just made it up. You could change it later. Okay. So now, 25 years later, we have systems that are built on data that was just put in and made up so that they could get to the next page because of the design. At Case Commons, we've dedicated ourselves to improving child welfare and technology in child welfare across the United States. So how do we do that? We've done it by creating a very easy to use, intuitive software as a service application called CaseBook. CaseBook brings together all of the information from the time someone calls in a hotline report and lets the child welfare agency know that someone's being abused or neglected, all the way through a foster adoption or reunification with the parents, which that's what we're hoping to get out of this in the end. As you can see up here on the screen, we've made it look and feel a lot like social media. So people that are coming into these jobs in child welfare know how to use the software before they even see it. They understand they can just scroll through, see information. It'll continue to scroll until you get to the end. You can add information, you can update that information, and you can use it on any device. You just go to the browser, type in the address, and it'll load, whether it's your smartphone or your desktop. What this has done is it's allowed caseworkers who were reliant on old technology and always needed to finish their 8-hour day by going into the office and doing data entry from their notebook into a system. And now they can actually use this when they're out in the field. They can see what's going on with the child and understand better what they need to do. We're getting close to the end here, I know. I will hurry up. But I just wanted to show one example of how we do this and how we can make a drastic change by just updating our user interface. So right here, we allow caseworkers to sort based on these columns that are up at the top. And it's just a gentle nudge that lets those caseworkers know that they have something to do. By doing that, by simply changing the dashboard view that a caseworker looks at every time they get into the office or every time they load into the system. This line was when we implemented our system in the state of Indiana. You can see a drastic drop immediately as soon as CaseBook was implemented on the time between visits for that caseworker to get out and be with that child. And what we know, based on our long history in child welfare, is the more visits that caseworker makes with the child, the better chance of a positive outcome. So there's a lot more that I can tell you about this. I'd love to show you a little bit more about the software. You stop by our booth, and I would really appreciate it if you tweet about us at Case Commons. So, Bobby, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. So we have 2 questions, so if anybody has any questions, lay them on me. All right. Go ahead.
If you are doing this with browsers, what kind of guarantee of security are you doing beyond just basic SSH security?
Sure. We have an entire role-based. I'm sorry. The question was related to security over and beyond the security requirements, basic SSL, and the federally mandated. And really, that's what we've done. We've met federal requirements. We take a look on a state-by-state basis at what is required. One of the ways that we've done this is through GovCloud certification. We figure we might as well go that route because some states require it, some don't, so we just do it by default. So we've done everything we can. From the application level, everything is role-based, and so we can allow certain users deeper access to the system than others. For example, an emergency room doc can just log into the system, enter a new report to let us know that there was a child that was abused or neglected, but has access to nothing else within the system. Thanks for that question. All right, I got 2 at the same time. All right, Steve.
Are there any cities or states that are using this already, or is it something that's just...
Sure. Yeah, the question was, is anybody currently using CaseBook? And the answer is yes. The state of Indiana has implemented the state of Indiana implemented 95% of CaseBook, and just in the last 2 weeks implemented the final module and just went live. So, as I say, from soup to nuts, we're live in Indiana and using the system for everything related to child welfare at the Department of Children and Families.
Congratulations.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.